Keynes was right about over time, when you weaken a currency, you do undermine the social order. Inflation is the equivalent of changing the number of ounces in a pound or changing how a mirror makes you look. It is distortive, ridiculous, and destructive. Inflation is legalized counterfeiting, whether it's 2% a year or 20% a year.
As the Fed was printing money, the inflation that you would have expected to see in the United States was actually being exported to China. China was creating their own inflation by printing their money to soak up the dollars. But there's no bigger manipulator than the U.S., which said, like, the more you want to print, our printing press is bigger than your printing press. And finally, we got China to blame.
You know, if there's a shutdown or a default, it will be over John Boehner's dead body. A lot of Republican House members, going into the last one, they knew this was a mistake. They knew it. The leadership knew it. The experienced ones knew it. But there was a large pool of House members that didn't.
But why are we spending so much time, John, talking about the last crisis? We should be talking about the future. We should be talking about the next crisis. Too big to fail became a salient problem in the fall of 2008 because the banks said, they argued with some justification, we've become so big you cannot let us fail.
You know, I think for him it is explaining why it is in everyone's interest to end the era of threatening default in budget negotiations, because the president would then be saying it is okay as a normal routine matter each year for whoever is in the minority in our government to say that if they don't get their way, they're willing to tank the economy and put us into default.
As one of the philosophers said 4 billion years ago, this planet was molten lava and today it sings opera. And where does that come from? The ability to develop our finer capacities and to explore the higher reaches of our abilities, that comes from having time. It comes from having the ability to invest in things other than just keeping ourselves alive.
We can't really have a country where we grow, there's technology, there's globalization, there's innovation, and yet the median worker sees no increase in wages for 20 or 30 years. It's extraordinary. It's theft.
And it's not your intelligence. It's not your years of experience. It's actually your capability or ability to take a risky bet. And that ability to take risks is very much connected deeply to your cushion. Do you have the money to go out there and risk this capital, or do you need that money to pay for your mortgage and your car loan and to pay for your kid's school?
Bitcoin is extremely disruptive. What is Bitcoin on an extremely high level? Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a system of sending money over the internet. It works similar to sending emails or using voice over IP, where no one owns this technology per se. It's not. It's open source and it's not controlled by any corporation.
So I'm very excited about these new types of currencies as a way to both put pressure on existing systems to lower their fees and to become more efficient. It's de-emphasizing the currency as a store of value and just trying to have an efficient way for me to say, send dollars to yen immediately peer-to-peer in a frictionless way with no middlemen.